Abba and Preach make a masterful video exposing the perspective that if you aren't willing to celebrate Rainbow Flag Week, then perhaps you should leave this country. Okay, shout out to Abba and Preach, man. Big fan of theirs. But Abba and Preach are not Christians. I think Preach grew up Protestant, as he reveals in this video, and Abba grew up Muslim. But when you start getting into these sorts of conversations, listen to how they break this down and just the simplicity that I think they have a very good perspective. Go ahead.
And this is, if you don't celebrate Pride, leave our country. Teacher tells Muslim kids Pride is mandatory by law. So now we're also switching the social dynamic here from Christians to...
I think this is where they're gonna mess up. I think you could do this thing when it's like, oh, it's just the whites. It's just the whites that are angry.
White, evangelical, conservative.
Yeah, no. Y'all thought Muslims was going for this?
You thought you could go overseas real quick?
Yeah.
You're not going overseas with this.
Yeah. This ain't gonna happen. So go ahead and play this.
So all across Canada right now, we're seeing a bunch of protests in regards to Pride Month being involved in schools. The government has come down saying it may be illegal not to celebrate Pride Month.
Maybe illegal.
And this is in Canada.
Sickness.
I'm gonna use their own drop while reacting to their video. Go ahead.
It goes against the human rights charter of said province to not celebrate Pride Month at school. So parents don't want their kids to be indoctrinated. Jokes for, hey, we're not doing that. It helps with awareness and acceptance. Here's a teacher telling Muslim students that skipping events is not okay.
This is a voice note from a class that someone secretly recorded telling Muslim students.
You are out to lunch. If you think it's acceptable to not show up because you think if there's some pride activities going on at school, right? Oh, that's fine. You know, because I'm going to show my opinion by hanging out at the mall. But meanwhile, all those kids who are, you know, involved in, say, the History of the Lives or whatever, I don't even know if we have that anymore in our school, they're here when we did Ramadan for Lion Time, and they're showing respect in the class.
The fact that she's conflating this with showing respect for Ramadan,
Well, yeah.
just shows to me that, like, no one's saying you have to do the fast with Ramadan. Like, Muslims choose not to eat until sundown. No water, by the way. That's
Really?
Oh yeah, that's a different.
Wow.
That's a different degree of fasting. So no water.
I don't want to.
I think they do it
within a foot.
for 30 days.
Okay.
And she's like, people are respecting it. I think you're conflating the difference in that you don't got to do Ramadan, right? You're telling me I got to do this. Like,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Right? For your beliefs. It goes two ways. If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you got to give it back to people who are different from you.
Now she playing around talking to the limbs like that? You talking to the Islam like that?
Yeah, you can't talk.
You can't talk. I mean, that type of talk will get you banned from Patreon.
The left and has always had this interesting backdoor deal.
Oh yeah.
With this agreement, like, hey, like we're gonna say their values are wrong, but we're not gonna say they're wrong. We just got to respect them. But now it's like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. The next year, 2 years is gonna get interesting.
Also, not to mention, this world she's setting up with this standard is kind of making this idea that if you don't participate, then I will now withdraw my respect for your religion and I will now begin discriminating.
Well, no, it's kind of it gets worse. What she says gets worse.
That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here. Because that is not what Canada believes. We believe in freedom.
So isms, it's okay with isms as long as it's an exchange.
Yeah.
Like if it's not an exchange, ism is okay now. But if we're not exchanging, this isn't a fair trade, we're sending you back to where you came from, is the most like stereotypical ist card that people play.
Yeah, that's true. Go back to where you came from if you don't rock with this.
You can't be in this country.
All right, let's check out their surgical response.
Participate in Pride events, you do not belong in Canada. Interesting. Listen, I don't know what Ramadan is like today, but when I was growing up, you did it. If you wanted to, you did it. And nobody cared. And honestly, I didn't care if the school got involved. Why would I give a I'm fasting. I don't need you guys to eat sambusas with me. We're not going to be there when I break my fast. All right? You guys call it samosas, whatever the you call it.
Yo, sambusas is fire.
But that's what we call it.
I want to be there when y'all motherfuckers eat it.
That's delicious. But my whole point is, like, Muslims have never been clamoring for other people to observe their religious experiences. They don't care. Just don't f with our shit. And I think most people agree you want to do this stuff, nobody cares. They just say, just don't fuck with our shit. We won't fuck with yours. But this whole thing about like, you don't belong here if you're not willing to participate in pride events is nonsensical. Okay? If you want as an adult to encourage people to go to pride events, there's nothing wrong with that. But saying people don't belong here because they don't want to go to your pride parade is stupid. And this is a bit like, I'm for people having discussions about rights in schools during pride month. I don't think it's a problem. Okay? I don't care that people want to say like, you know, the history of people in Canada. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you want to run like drag queen shows or running stuff like drag hour for kids or whatever, like it's okay with parents saying like, I don't want that for my kids. The same way, I don't think it's anything wrong with not being accepting of like a Muslim sheikh coming to your school to talk to the kids or a pastor.
We would all be like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, everyone would be freaking out.
Right? Like you can't have the Muslim sheikh, you can't have the Christian pastor pull up in the middle of lunchtime, mandatory. You're all going to sit down and hear about Allah, or you're all going to sit down and hear about Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here. I think we would all be like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. But that's the equivalent here, right?
Pastor coming to, it's okay. You don't have to be for all of that stuff. But we've now made it where if you're not 100% with us, you're 100% against it. But why does it have to involve me? Why does my participation?
And that's the issue is right now, and that's what I'm saying, like the next year and a half until the election is going to get crazy. But right now, Abba nailed it. The issue is exactly what he just said. If you're not 100% with us, you're against us.
Oops.
Friends, Christians, hear me loud and clear. We cannot use this same sort of thinking with regards to our own people who are on our side in these situations. You cannot do the death purity spiral where unless someone is equally as condemning of every specific act, that then they're not good on your end. I've been preaching on Christians. However, we can clearly find some degree of commonality to speak against some of the insanity, okay? And the reason why the folks in the LGTB community are, and the numbers reflect this, by the way, just so you know, that they're taking an L, and they're going to take more L's on this, is because of this death spiral purity nonsense. Like, unless you are perfect in agreement of what we value, then you're not even good. And so that's why they're bleeding people that would typically be quote-unquote allies. J.K. Rowling would be an ally, typically. Dave Chappelle would be an ally.
Oh, yeah.
Typically. Bill Maher would be an ally. Joe Rogan would be an ally. Abba and Preach would be allies. But because this goofy thinking that unless you're 100% for everything we say in all of our dogma, it sounds a lot like Calvinism. Like, I gotta accept all 1,000 points of Calvinism or I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? I may not even be saved. And I'm not saying most Calvinists, like I'm saying the fringe ones are. So unless you 100% agree with everything, then you're out. And so because of this, what it is it's actually dogmatic fundamentalist thinking. It's just, this is why when people say the LGTB is a religion, because this is how radical fundamentalism thinks. Unless you're 100% with us, you're against us. And I'm telling you guys, Christians, it's about to hit the fan, and the folks that have more common sense that aren't even Christian in these discussions are going to seem more like an ally than some Christians that need you to drink their specific Kool-Aid of theology and their specific political ideology and all these sorts of things. And it's like, look, let's not be like them folks over there, because this is how you catch L's. The death purity spiral is how you catch L's.
Have to be part of this process? That is a question that I think a lot of people are asking. And I think there's actually a lot of school programs that are running Pride Month and their events very sensibly, okay? I really believe that. In that they're not, overindulging. They're just saying, hey, we got this flag up here, and beyond that, like, we're chilling, okay? And maybe we talk about gay people and what they've experienced, which I don't think is bad. But then you have other stuff that I'm just like, what the f am I even looking at? Like this.
So 1, 2, 3, where do y'all say that on 3, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Darkness. 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 Darkness.
Is that a scroll?
Darkness. Darkness.
What am I watching?
Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk? That's all in. And then you just move your thumb up and down like that. And that's twerk.
That's the elementary school kid. That's elementary school. What are we looking at? That's elementary school. What are we doing?
What do you think about stuff being involved in pride in schools? You think it's good, bad, in
Depends
between?
on the level of when it's done.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah, people are trying to do too much.
Of course.
What are we doing?
Oh my gosh, poor kids.
It's like Black History Month. Let's just put the example of Black
This is
History
a good
Month, because
example.
that's what
Listen.
you motherfuckers are gonna go to first. If you talk about history, the history of Black people, I understand that. But if I would walk in one day and my kids are in school and I pick them up and everybody has a Black Lives Matter shirt and they're an African flag.
Yeah.
Kids with an afro.
I actually want to see that.
Hold on, I don't want to see that. Other people are talking to me like, white kids come to me like, "Good morning, sir." And
Oh my gosh, bro.
Like, I apologize for what we've done to you, mister.
That would be too much. And I'd be like, I don't want none of this shit. Because that's too much.
I kind of want to see Hotep reading this.
Like,
Jesus was black, and so was your ancestors. Know your history, because we are all one people coming from Africa. Take it back to the motherland, because we are standing on an
Okay. Shout out to Alba.
Wow.
Yo, he goes on for like 5 minutes of doing this like spoken word about it. Oh man. All right.
Well,
I think listen, I think it's gonna be really weird. I think until the election, it's gonna be really weird. I don't know what life on the other side of this looks like.
yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like either side is gonna budge. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I
like
think
either
someone's
side.
gonna take an L. I don't think we're finding like a resolution. I think it's like what you said. Like they're gonna go too far. They start getting banned from the White House. They start attacking the limbs, you know, and then it swings the other way.
Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.